Anonymous writes, I've been struggling with weight loss a lot these past 2 years. Not only is it an issue to lose, but to not keep going up. I'm 5'5.5", 186 pounds. I'm not sure what my BMI is. I've been doing intermittent fasting for about a month and I don't see anything. I've managed to go to a 16.8. You cannot eat whatever you like and not go up, so that's a fallacy. My usual lunch is a protein shake and coffee, sometimes some toast with it, and it is between 11 and noon. I drink lots of water during the day. Dinner is around 7 p.m. Dinner is usually some veggies with some sort of protein and sometimes some sort of carb, like sweet potatoes or rice. I'm at my wit's end and I don't know what to do. I'm walking more, 8,000 steps compared to 4,000. Even if I don't walk enough to lose the weight, I should not be gaining. Any suggestions? So the first thing I want to say is I know how frustrating this can feel. We're very similar heights, you and I. I'm 5'6", and so at that height and weight, your BMI is about 30, which is right on the cusp between obesity and overweight. It's right on that line. You'll be like, if you just like maybe lose a pound, you'll be in the overweight range. So, I want to share with you my experiences. You wrote to me, and so I can only offer you what I've experienced. And I can tell you, from when I was a kid, I was always on some sort of diet or watching my food intake, and I did always feel like, well, I'm just not allowed to have certain things. I mean, I remember being on the zone diet at one point, and part of that was every morning I just gulped down this disgusting protein shake, and I hated those things. I basically at one point swore to myself, I'm going to learn how to lose weight without having to drink a protein shake, because it was something that I resented. Now, if you love your protein shake, I'm certainly not trying to criticize that, but I just want you to know that I've been there. And you said in your note, it's a fallacy to think you can eat whatever you want and still lose weight. And that's exactly why I started this channel, why I made the first video, because for the first time in my life, I learned that I could lose weight while continuing to eat all the food. And that was the big revelation to me on my weight loss journey, was that I didn't have to drink protein shakes. I didn't have to say goodbye to carbs. Like, I just eat all the different kinds of foods. I don't have any forbidden food at all. And counterintuitively, that is what gave me stopping power, the ability to be able to sit down, eat, and stop when I was full, and to really pay attention to am I full right now, and just stopping when I was and eating when I was hungry. And that has been the key. When I look back, I realized that was the big key for me to be able to do this for the long term. I started experimenting with intermittent fasting in late 2014. So that was 5 years ago. And I'm still doing intermittent fasting happily, without it feeling like, oh, I really dislike this, but I'm going to white knuckle through. And I also did a poll on my community tab to see, who else, is anybody else doing it the way I'm doing it? So I asked people, for those of you out there who are doing intermittent fasting and losing weight, what are your food rules? And 52% of them, so that was almost 390 people, said they eat all the foods. No foods at all are forbidden. And, ultimately, I mean, it really comes down to the individual. I do believe that. But I take a very simple view of weight loss. And the way I look at it is, if my weight is not going down, that means I'm either eating a little too much, or if it's staying the same and I'm wanting it to go down, I'm still eating a little too much because I'm eating too many calories in order to lose weight. Now, in my opinion, intermittent fasting is a great way to limit your calories, to put that boundary around food that can be hard for some of us to kind of navigate, because if we really like big portions like I do, or if we've had problems with emotional eating in the past, that was another thing that I dealt with. But I don't think there's any magic to the intermittent fasting thing. It's not like just because you're doing a 16-8, you cannot overeat. I think that you can eat too many calories no matter what plan you're doing. But right now, if you're finding that you're fine on the food side, like you're not resentful of any of that, you like the protein shake, you like the way you're eating, I would offer that there are a few questions you can start to ask yourself just to start to observe and see maybe some things that could be going on. One thing would be, are you snacking a lot during the day? I was always a snacker, and I'm not anymore. I found that really the reason why I was snacking was because I was stressed out. It really didn't have anything to do with true hunger. And, the calories can really add up if you're grazing, even if it's just small amounts, but small amounts throughout the day can really add up. Another question to ask yourself is, do you find yourself overeating? Like, is it hard for you to stop once you start? And one thing that I found for me when I was doing, like more of like a 16-8, what I like to do was to have a good filling meal when my window opened, so my lunch would be a good sized lunch. And then I would eat a good sized supper. So it's not like I opened with something really tiny, because I found if I do that, if I try to eat something tiny to kind of open the window, I would just be hungry all day. So I always try to, when I sit down to eat, I want to get full. So maybe that might help you. And if you do find that you're overeating, I found it helpful to just start to observe myself, like what was going on before and during the meal, like what was going through my head, what was my self-talk like when the overeating happened. Was one of my kids misbehaving, or was something going on with money at the time? Were we stressed out with our budget? What was going on? And then also you can ask yourself, are you being really strict for a certain period of time and then kind of falling off the wagon? I don't know. You weren't specific in your notes, so I don't know what your pattern has been. Have you been super consistent on this plan? Like, in other words, you've been doing 16-8 every single day for 4 weeks solid with no going off plan? Or was this just something you were trying out and sometimes you weren't being as consistent? If you find yourself kind of rebelling against the rules that you've set up for yourself, whether it be the food that you're eating or just the length of the windows, just switch it up and change it around and figure out what you can live with, what you can implement for a lifetime. And then lastly, you said it's been about a month, and I would offer you, just from my own observations, being a female myself, my weight fluctuates a lot, especially because of my cycle. And I feel like about, 4 weeks is a good amount of time to look at so that you can see, what does your weight do on a month-to-month basis? It's not that great looking at the weight loss side of it because of fluctuations and how much your weight may fluctuate, it might not tell you much even after 1 month. What I like to recommend and what helped me was to weigh every single day and keep track of my 7-day average. That started to show me the trend of my weight. How is my weight trending? And I would say, 6 to 12 weeks of consistently being on plan. After you've done that, you can look at how your 7-day average is trending, and that can give you some good information about whether your plan is actually working or not. And it's really, really difficult, I know from firsthand experience, but just to be patient with the process. I found when I had the most weight to lose, it was about a pound a week on average. That meant that sometimes I wasn't even losing any weight. Sometimes my weight did stall out for, 6 weeks at a time or so. And, one other thing is just learning how to maintain the weight you're currently at and not gain is also a victory. I know it can be difficult to lose weight, and certainly different hormonal things can happen. And also, if you feel like there's something going on with your body, maybe you feel like something's wrong hormonally or just, physically, go to your doctor and see, if maybe there is some sort of underlying issue there. And ultimately, just don't give up. Just keep on trying. And if intermittent fasting doesn't work out for you, then certainly go and try something else. And you just have to find the thing that works for you and for your life. I hope that helps answer your question. I know it's a frustrating thing to go through. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you found it helpful. If you're currently trying to lose weight and you're just having a hard time, check out my Slow and Steady Success Academy. There you'll find a course called Intermittent Fasting for Weight Loss 101, where I take you through the entire process from start to finish and how to implement intermittent fasting successfully in your life for weight loss. The link is in the description.